million a year. And for the last 6 years, they have been there. This $200 million would have saved a lot of lives. But the parties agree that the delimitation and demarcation determinations of the Commission shall be final and binding. Each party should respect the border so determined, as well as the territorial integrity and sovereignty of the other party. Ethiopia violated this fundamental bedrock. It continued to occupy by force sovereign territories of the UN member state for the last 4 years in violation of the Algiers Peace Treaty and Article 2.4 of the UN Charter. In January 2006, the US government employed its full bilateral diplomatic influence to unlawfully alter and modify the legal award under the rubric of a new initiative. This time round, the United States dropped all pretensions of influencing the demarcation process from without through an external envoy wearing a United Nations mantle. The current plan consists of directly planning a senior U.S. expert as an appendage to the Boundary Commission and bestowing upon him wide powers to alter the decision in the process of demarcation. Ladies and gentlemen, Eritrea firmly believes that in matters of conflict resolution, before an agreement is concluded, the parties concerned must negotiate faithfully. And once the agreement is signed, the parties must equally act in good faith to ensure its full implementation. Let me also remind you that Eritrea has maintained a good track record of complying with the rule of law by accepting the following. The Eritrea-Yemen arbitration decision was given on the 9th of October 1998. We agreed with Yemen that the arbitration results will be accepted as final and binding, and as soon as the verdict has been given, we accepted it. As I have been mentioning to you before, the Eritrea-Ethiopia Boundary Commission also, we have accepted it. It doesn't mean we don't have any concerns about the verdict, but we have already signed, and therefore we have to be abided by the rule of law. Thirdly, the Eritrea-Ethiopia Claims Commission also gave a decision on the 21st of December 2005. We accepted it because we have already signed. We have already agreed. And this is the reason why I said just above these statements that any discussion, any dialogue, any mediation can be done before we go to court. Once we go to court, that's the end. The decision of the judge is final, and we have to accept it. In each case, Eritrea had its own reservations, but as a sign of its firm commitment to the law, to the rule of law, it decided to abide by all of its decisions. Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, my government is determined not to allow the legal process to be derailed through various subtle maneuvers. Eritrea shall not allow any encroachment of our territorial integrity half a century later. And as the Eritrean government has underlined during the last meeting of the Boundary Commission. This was in March 2006. Number one, the award that is final and binding in accordance with the Algiers Agreement should not be tampered with under any pretext. In this connection, Ethiopia's acceptance of the decision must be ascertained publicly and unequivocally. The details and modalities of demarcation must be worked out in an environment that is A, free from political interference, B, unlawful and compounding mechanisms, C, loopholes susceptible to distortion. The way forward is therefore for Ethiopia to fully accept the EEBC decision unequivocally and without any precondition, as has been demanded in several toothless resolutions of the UN Security Council. Everybody feels that UN Security Councils are important, they have to be implemented, but from our experience, they are toothless, some of them. Whenever the so-called P5 want it, they can implement it. They raise a stick, like some places which we have seen before. But if they don't want it, they just keep quiet. And resolution after resolution, resolution after resolution comes and passes. So that is the reason why I said toothless resolutions. As mentioned above, Eritrea's right of independence was compromised by the United Nations in the 1950s to serve U.S. interests. As a result, Eritrea had to endure 50 years of tyranny and 30 years of armed struggle to reverse the injustice. Mr. Kofi Annan and the UN Security Council have again failed Eritrea for the second time. They have refused to force Ethiopia to implement the final and binding decision of the EEBC. By doing so, they have allowed Ethiopia to continue occupying Eritrean territories. The UN military force, in a sense, has become protector of Ethiopia's illegal acts. This is the United Nations and the United States' second injustice against Eritrea. In conclusion, Mr. Chairman, or Madam Chair, the Horn of Africa region holds great potential for economic growth and prosperity. As I mentioned to you, we have the sea, we have fish, we have gold, we have agriculture, which is enough for us. And even Ethiopia is very rich agriculturally. They have gold. But the countries of the region must focus on combating famine, combating poverty, combating HIV/AIDS, combating illiteracy, and combating sustainability and food security. We must place more attention on our human and physical resources and strengthen institutions to support the development of the public and private sectors. Much can be gained from our peaceful coexistence, regional cooperation, and integration. This should be our priorities. If not, our people, the people of the region and the international community have only much to lose. The appeasement of some great powers in encouraging the regime in Ethiopia to refuse and violate